Man, oh Man, Aeroplane by Speed the Plough off of their newest collection, The Plough and the Stars. And we are lucky enough right now to have the main guy from Speed the Plough. And I've been a big fan of the band since way back. With us right now, John Baumgartner. John, how you doing?
Yes, very good. Nice to talk to you, Sam.
And it's great to have you on the air, my friend. For those who don't know the history of Speed the Plough, can you give us, because I know there's a lot of complications over time, but give us a little bit of how the band got started, what you guys came from to get there.
Oh, okay. We have a few hours, right, Finn? It started in the early '80s with a band called the Trypes, which was based in Halden, New Jersey. Some of high school friends, kind of thing, getting together, and I think our objective initially was just to record a single and get it onto the jukebox of a local bar we hung out in. And it also happened to be a place that Glenn Mercer and Bill Million of the Feelies, who were also high school friends of ours, also frequented. And one thing led to another, and we told them we were putting this band together, and they were very supportive of it. And kind of leaping ahead about a year or so, they became members of the band, as did Brenda Sauter, who's the current Feelies bassist, and Stan Demesky, who's their drummer. Mm-hmm. So it was basically the Feelies and us doing very kind of naive kind of music, trying to think of what we were influenced by at the time, maybe Gang of Four and things like that. Mm-hmm. And then things sort of spread out a little bit. I started getting a little bit more serious about songwriting, and, my influences were early Jefferson Airplane and Fairport Convention, Pentangle, that sort of stuff. Mm-hmm. So we carried on with the Trypes for, I think, about 2 years, released an EP on Coyote Records. And that was in the point after the Feelies had released Crazy Rhythms, and I think they lost their enchantment for the music business at the time and didn't want to have anything to do with it. And then after a while, they had continued writing music and put the band back together and got back on the road and took our drummer and bass player with them. So that's when we started Speed the Plough, around 83, 84, okay. with the core, the core members of the Trypes.
And of course, you wound up playing and being part of the scene around Maxwell's, which is one of our favorite venues of all time, and you got involved with that whole scene as well. And can you tell us how that was in Hoboken at the time, when you guys were playing there?
Yeah, well, the Trypes EP, The Explorer's Hold, came out on Steve Fallon's label, Coyote. Yep. Steve Fallon was the owner of Maxwell's at the time and was very intimately involved in kind of nurturing a whole bunch of bands from New Jersey, Bongos, Feelies, all kind of made Maxwell's their home. As the Trypes, we rehearsed there on Sunday nights. They were closed on Sunday nights, so that was our rehearsal space for about a year. And I'd probably venture to guess that maybe most of the members of Speed the Plough have played at Maxwell's more times than maybe anybody else, considering that we rehearsed there. And our first album also came out on Coyote before it was picked up by Eastside Digital.
Right. Coyote did some brilliant work putting out stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, so many of those bands, the compilation they put out, Luxury Condos, mm-hmm. Included everybody from us to Yola Tango to the Raunch Hands to, just dozens of bands. And yeah, it was a real gestational period for us and for the scene there.
Yeah, just a great place to be in for those of us who were going to the shows there. Maxwell's was like a whole different world. The bands that were on that scene at the time, of course, ventured into New York City and et cetera. But that Maxwell scene was just a really cool, completely different thing.
Yeah, it was home. At the time we were playing dozens of venues in the city, from the Bottom Line to Siberia to the Fez and every other club in between, Knitting Factory and stuff. But Maxwell's just kind of treated you differently.
Right. It was a great vibe to go there too as a listener. So.
Oh, great! Yeah,
great place. Good. Yeah. All right. So the band. Tell us about the first release. How did that all come together? How did that record deal come together after the Coyote release?
Well, the first one, as I said, came out on Coyote. Steve, maintained interest in us and was very supportive of us. And then I guess Coyote sort of faded a bit and folded eventually. And we moved to Eastside Digital, which was a label out of Minneapolis. It was a subsidiary of Rykodisc. And we found a really great home there for our first 4 albums. And that sort of became the impetus for this compilation thing that we put out, with this rather unwieldy compilation thing. Because it began with the fact that we were getting emails from people, these albums aren't available anymore, the first 4 albums on East Side. And so our first thought was a little bit smaller than what it wound up being, was to do a compilation. We kind of put a word out to fans and stuff, asking for input as to what songs they'd like to have on a compilation, and we were just thinking of it as that at the time. But of course, in the meantime, we've continued with the band. It's been a really, we're talking about 30 years here, Finn, so it's a long story. But around 2010, after a few years of inactivity, some of our kids who became musicians, our original guitar player, Mark Francia's kids, Dan was a bass player, and Ian, a drummer, and Tony, who's my wife and original member of the band, and our son, Michael, has become our lead guitar player. And around 2010, they started saying, why are we not doing anything? We were sort of in a period of inactivity. We were, recording some stuff just at home on Pro Tools and sort of working new material out. And they said, particularly Mark's son, Dan, come on, what are you doing here? You have all this material. We should be out playing. So they became members of the band.
Very cool. So they didn't rebel against the music you liked?
No, they really embraced it in a way that I wouldn't have imagined. We're talking about kids who are between the ages of 22 and 27 or whatever, so certainly their musical influences and what they were listening to was a lot different than our kind of music, but there was bubbling under the surface an appreciation for what we had done, and this desire to kind of kick us in the butt a bit and get back out and do things. So we recorded a couple of albums with them in 2010, 2012. And so we've kept recording. So long story short, some of the new material is part of the Plough The Stars project. The entire thing includes a 12-inch piece of vinyl, one side of which is basically an EP of material recorded in the last year. The other side is some archival stuff, a live performance that we did in '93 on a radio station in New Jersey. I won't mention the call letters.
Oh, you can, because we're big FMU fans.
WFMU, yes. So we found a lot of great stuff that we had done on FMU, and so what was going to be maybe, a compilation CD became a whole bigger thing.
Wow, very exciting. And I have to tell you that the combination of the things from the Plough and the Stars, as well as the tag sale section of the, which is really like the live tracks and stuff like that, the bonus stuff that was from the FMU sessions, and Music Faucet, all that is just really, really cool. And you guys sound so energetic.
Well, thanks. Did you
feel that? Did you feel that at the time?
No, of course, at the time we played the shows on FMU and got tapes of them, and really didn't think much of them. And all the band members here are like places where you didn't play quite as well as you could have, and
typical musicians.
Sort of dismissed it a bit for all these years, and then when we kind of dipped back into it, thinking really about let's come up with some bonus tracks, some things that are download tracks to enhance the whole project. We almost found that there would have been enough to that could have been a project in and of itself.
Oh yeah, and it sounds really, really great, and it's a good thing. So what's actually going on with the band now? You've been doing recording. You have this great kind of compilation of sorts out there, the Plough and the Stars right now. And what is the band playing live? What's going on?
This past year, we've probably been more active than we ever have been in 30 years. We played during the last week of the Maxwell shows. I sat in on a couple of Feely sets during their last shows there.
The farewell shows, yeah, to Maxwell's.
Then we've been up in Connecticut, up the Hudson River Valley, down in Asbury Park a week or two ago. We've been quite busy.
That is.
That's right. We played the Hoboken Music and Arts Festival out on Washington Street, opening for the Feelies, and had them join us on a few tunes from way back. So it's been real super active period.
And that is absolutely outstanding and great. Any New York City shows coming up?
We're heading to Brooklyn sometime in February or March. It's not totally nailed down yet, and probably other places in New York, but right now, like over the holidays, we're kind of working up some new material that we're going to record in February.
Oh, that's exciting. Okay. So how is it working with the younger generation there? Is everybody getting along? Are there the typical son and father fights, or whatever happens to be the dynamic?
Yeah, sure. There's some of that, then of course. But I think by and large, it's really kind of deepened relationships. Relating to your kid as a musician rather than as your kid, and kind of discovering the appreciation that the second generation group has had for what we did in the past, and the desire to dip back into the archives has been really gratifying.
Yeah, and that's very exciting. The fact that the family, each of your families can share that with the kids. That must make for crazy dinner conversations, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I kind of think of it as you think about Appalachian players. They were all multi-generational bands.
Yeah, that's true.
Why shouldn't that be the case now?
That's right.
In fact, my son Michael's band got to play one of the shows in the last week of Maxwell's. That was the whole bill was comprised of kids of kind of old Maxwell's stalwarts.
Wow.
Which was a real trip. So it's extending, it's continuing, which is that's a great thing.
It is a great thing. People, of course, can probably get the Plough and the Stars, as well as some other releases, I would imagine, from Amazon and stuff. But they can also get Speed the Plough, the Plough and the Stars from your own website. What's the website there, John?
Actually, probably the best place to go is Bar None, who were gracious and really accommodating in releasing this. It's bar-none, None.com. That'd be the best place to get the Speed the Plough. The Plough and the Stars. Although it's on iTunes, Amazon, eMusic, all the other places.
It's always nice, however, to cut out the middleman, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. And as I said, they were real supportive with this rather cumbersome vision that we had of the release, and did everything they could to really kind of realize that vision. So go to Bar None.
Very good. That's bar-none. And check it out. And John Baumgartner, thank you so much for joining us on Finn's Revolution, and we are going to stay in touch for when you do, just before, hopefully, you do your Brooklyn gigs, and we'll chat a little more. And right now on Finn's Revolution, we're going to give away a copy of, we actually have a couple, of The Plough and The Stars from Speed The Plough, new kind of comp collection of it. You can give us a call right now if you would like a copy. 631-632-6901. That's 631-632-6901. John Baumgartner, thank you so much for joining us on Finn's Revolution. It has been an absolute pleasure, and we'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Yeah, I appreciate your support.
Oh, you got it. We love it.
Hopefully people call in. It's 17 tracks.
They're calling.
And if they get the whole project, it is 38 tracks, so it's 2.5 hours of music.
Very, very cool. John, take care.
Yeah, you too, Finn.
Bye-bye.